Welcome back to College Football 26, episode number 32. We're pushing into the next season after our second playoff run, and amazingly, we probably had no business actually getting there, but we're now 3 stars, and that is going to really push us forward into the next echelon of recruitment. So I'm excited for what's to come with that, and just general recognition. It's going to be easier to get to the playoff now as a more respected program. We begin with players leaving, though. We knew we had a pretty short list, but unfortunately, it does include a couple of good players, and one in particular stands out because even though we saw the push towards the next half star to that 3-star rating now, because we did lose 4 games and only got 9 wins for the first time in a long time, not getting that 10-win season, my coach prestige dropped to a B+. As a result, a single player, just one, has triggered their deal breaker, and that's McDowell. That one hurts, but we've got a lot of depth at right edge. There's only 8 persuasion options, so we're going to be able to take all of them without a problem. It's only 5 recruits. 2 are very good, though. That center, that right edge, it's definitely going to hurt. We're also losing 2 quarterbacks. That's a position that's constantly in flux as everybody down the list is wanting to leave, but that's a fullback deciding to stay. So we're actually only losing 4 transfer targets this year. And then the graduating class includes an 88 defensive tackle, a 91 strong safety, a lot of low 80s players, free, heading to the draft, projected for round 4. That's the second. There's a third with a 91 overall right guard, and 4th player, all at 90+. Plenty of quality, though, in this graduating class. Draft results: 5 players ended up being drafted. Free, Perkins, Lambeau, Spillman, and Knox. I did recruit a little differently this season than in years past, and instead of having 35 targets right now, last year before, I started to trend this direction. Right now I only have 20 active targets. A lot of those are either signed on or close to signed on or very comfortable. There were a couple battles, and we have lost some of those. We were still not quite getting over the line at 2.5 stars as I was more aggressive competing for guys. Reyna did not pan out. He ended up signing with Florida over the bowl season, but we did get 1 5-star. So we have the number 25 player nationally, the number 6 wide receiver, 5-star physical route runner out of Fort Collins, Colorado, has signed with us. We also have a 4-star gem free safety, so that's a very good start to our class. We also have a tight end, a quarterback, a halfback, a middle linebacker that are all 4-star guys. So 6 have already signed on. We've missed out on this 4-star in Chun, as he signed with somebody else. We're about to get the commitment of this middle linebacker, which would make that 7. We'll get him now. Let me put those hours in, and we'll go all in on this to make sure that BYU doesn't sneak in. So we'll just send the house. Actually, I think I don't need to send the house. He's never mind, send the house. Let's get equality in that one with a hard sell. And 3 3-stars. So we have 9 signatures already. We're about to get that 10th, and then here's even more. There is the 10th with the 4th 3-star. I think we succeeded at getting a sway over the break, so now we can. Yes, we did. We succeeded on a sway. It's the first one of those we've had. Let's get into the hard sell now. That's Florida chasing, though. That's not going to be easy unless they focus on a transfer target. Just like that, we're down to 3-star guys and just to number 18 on the list. And we should be able to get all of them. There's only one of these that has much competition. That was Notre Dame. We are first on all of them otherwise, and comfortable on all of them, which means we're going to be able to focus very heavily on the transfer market. Confirmation that there are 0, 5, or 4-star high schoolers left. So it's all transfer portal from here. Very much a different realm. We've gone from recruiting 0 transfer portal kids to 1 or 2 a season to we had 4 or 5. Last year, I think we targeted maybe 7. It's going to be half our class this year. So first thing, I've targeted guys that were interested. So we are on the list first in many cases for all of these guys. Which means I haven't actually filled out the list here on this week 1. I have 600 hours left to put out there, which means I can get a dozen of these guys maxed out. I think that's right about what I have. So we are going to send the house for the lot. 2 come in at 7th, 1 at 6th. Everything else is top 3 with most of those. 1 4th place. Most of those at 1st. So there's a really good chance on many of these. And we're setting the house on all, which gives us a very good chance to at least get a head start. We'll probably have to consolidate a little bit, dropping 1 or 2 guys into next week that we're not going to have a chance on. But we've got a pretty good chance to get majority of them. Those extra hours can then go into either adding something like a visit or refining and getting 40 on a hard sell. I have to keep an eye on that and see where it goes. We might also be able to pull some hours away from the first 18, which is really just 8 targets, to be able to then maybe pick up 1 or 2 additional transfer targets. But we're done with high schoolers. It's those 18. That's it. Though I think I need a defensive tackle or 2 in this class that I don't have, so we'll focus on that next week. Could come out of high school. All right, we got that 4-star middle linebacker signed. That's an extra 50 hours or 40 hours to redistribute. Oh, we got another as well. 3-star Boyce, free safety. Definitely trying to play the game in a slightly different way this year. So transfer target, right? We put 50 hours. We set the house last time. We can get more out of 40 hours with a hard sell, but we barely know the guy. We got 3 things: playing time, program tradition, conference prestige, and he only liked 1 of them. So we know playing time is in. There's always 3. The deal breaker is a hint. It's always number 1. That's their deal breaker. That's pro potential. There's only 2 that use both playing time and pro potential. Football influencer, brand exposure's a C. Or we go with clocked in and it's playing style, which is an A-. I'm going to take my chances that it's playing style, and that's going to put us over the line potentially for this guy, because we're especially a little bit off when it comes to this guy, and we're in 2nd. That could be the difference that puts us into 1st. And if it doesn't, we'll know by next week that we're further behind as we're chasing Ole Miss. But we made the same sort of progress that they were able to make. He's a higher pipeline tier for them, quite a bit higher than us. So that gives them a real shot to take him from us. This guy is not going to recruit well for us. This is one to drop. We're only 3rd of 3. Yeah, and he does care about championship contender, but we'd have to sway him to get very far. He doesn't care for our program tradition. Not that Wisconsin or Iowa, they're going to have a higher rating than us, but it's not that high of a rating for them. Oof. It's the number 1 halfback in the country. Maybe I'll leave him on the list for now and think about where I'll look at the others first, but I might have to replace him. Well, we've grown out to 33 targets now in week 2, adding in a few more 3-star candidates, all from the transfer market, or all but 1 from the transfer market, 1 high schooler. Signature 4-star right tackle transfer, I believe. Final week of recruiting. I've only added 4 guys to the list because I still had 31 going, and I got a instant commit. That's our 3rd this season of a 3-star player. This is a right guard high school kid, as I needed 1 more. He's only just in the top 1,000, so we're not talking about a great recruit here, but it's filling out the class with another quality player, and it's going to end up giving me more hours than I know what to do with. I still have 180 left. So I definitely took some risks on this final week. I went after some guys that in the past I would have backed off on. We'll see how many of those I have secured. I'm okay if we don't get all 35, but if we get really close to it, this is probably the best class we'll have ever had. We already have a 5-star and a good wide number of 4-stars. There's 6 of them right there before we get into the transfer part. So all 18 high schoolers that we were after, we got 100% of them. Into the transfer market, 4 4-stars. We missed out on a 3-star. This was one of those risks. Texas had been offering this high schooler all season long and had worked him up into that final top 3. I snuck in late trying to get this guy. They offered him on the final week. Oh, and Texas stole another one from us as well, coming in really late on this guy. So they saved a few offers for the literal final week of the season. But we got the other 33. We got 33 others, and we added a lot of 4-star guys down the stretch. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional 4-stars through the transfer market, giving us our second ever top 10 class and highest ranked, as 10th was our previous best. We have the 9th best class, 33 signed, 1 5-star, 12 4-stars, and 23 stars. And right tackle Wake actually ends up the best guy in the class, ahead of the 5-star high schooler. But we got 3 wide receivers, which was the entirety of that class, but 3 wide receivers in the top 5 guys, including a corner and a right tackle. Georgia, USC, Clemson, Michigan, Alabama were the top 5. Oregon, Miami, who finished the season unranked, Tennessee, and ourselves. Really, really good class, and we're headed for a 3-star year where we could do even more. So, moving into our new grades. As a championship contender, we have finished in that top 12 and in the A range, where for whatever crazy reason, program tradition still didn't get back up to a C-. We have 3 appearances in playoff games. We have 11 appearances in conference championships and 18 bowl games. Yet we still haven't cracked C- stage. We'll get there. We will get there. Campus lifestyle, still at the bottom, C-. That'll never change. Stadium atmosphere still has us in the D range. We have moved up. We've cracked the top 100 now. But that's wild that hasn't gotten better. But realistically, I think our percentages are nearly unchanged here. The average home attendance has gone up by a couple hundred, but the home attendance percentage is up maybe 2%, where the home winning percentage is the same. It's at 51. It's been there for the last couple of years. We've slowly turned this, but it's such a slow process because it's like historical. It's over so many years. The team prestige, the extra half-star, little bit of an extra value for us, but not much. It's going to take a while to get that better. It's taken a long while to get that better. Brand exposure, still a C. Barely a C. But that's probably headed the right direction as well. That'll get better. Academic prestige will never change. Conference prestige, we've pushed that up, and until we win a few conference championships, we're not going anywhere for a little while. But that's definitely, we're up to 5th. Coach stability, just a C+. Not sure how this doesn't. Well, it's the damn coordinators. It's the only thing that's hurting us. But as we build prestige and as I get to some higher coaching levels, I can hang on to coordinators a little bit better, and that'll eventually help. That coach prestige, this one hurt. It's still a B+, but we definitely took a drop, and hopefully we'll get that back up this next year. And the athletic facilities, despite going up into 3 stars, it's still a D. The next half-star, though, would definitely get us into D+ range, but D+, whoa. Overall, though, grades are still better than they used to be. Only 3 athletes to distribute, and we got a pretty balanced recruiting class, so I don't think it's going to be too hard here. We got 1 transfer that came in, and a true freshman who looks pretty dang good. Vegher is going to take over our dual threat quarterback. He'll head into his sophomore year, and he's an 87. So I think this is somebody we might lose to the draft in a year or two's time. But then you got that really good freshman behind him. But what does he care about? Championship contender. He'll stick around then, at least for a while. Playtime might impact him in a couple of years. Running back, plenty of quality, plenty of talent. We might actually be able to redshirt Spears finally. We had so many freshmen last year after we had that giant exodus, but those guys are going to all be upper 70s or low 80s or upper 80s with Spears quite a ways behind them and should be able to redshirt him. Fullback finally has a little more depth and quality, growing. Wide receiver, yeah, we've retooled now. We had a down year, but they'll be solid next year again. Those transfers, those 3 guys were all super quality, and Michaels was the third of them. True freshman, comes in as a 78 5-star. Coach Prestige is what he cares about. We might lose him eventually unless we get that back up. Tight end looks good. 2 strong left tackles, 1 strong left guard, 1 strong center. Right guard got some guys to move, but there's 1 very good one there. Right tackle has a 90 plus an 80. Left edge has an 86 followed by an 80. We have an 80 at right edge. Defensive tackles already got 2 guys around that 80 mark. We'll have an 80 plus at strong side after development. And we've already got 3 at middle and 1 very high at weak. And we'll have 80 pluses behind them. Corner, 4 80 plus guys already before development. Free has 180. Strong has 180. Kicker has 180. Punter has 2 80s and a 79. And then the 3 athletes. So I just got a couple linemen to move around, and that's about it. And then these athletes, let's see where they come in, where they're best at. Strong safety. I've had a hard time recruiting, so there's 1 down. A left edge and a defensive tackle. There you go. So that fills out that line. So all 3 of those guys got added to defense. And I've finally leveled up again. So I have 22 points. We're going to spend 15 of those to unlock a new category in talent developer. We only have 7 at the moment, and it costs 12 to spend anything. So we are going to need another level up before we can. But bonus XP for draftees among quarterbacks. The first tier, it's across all positions here is the option. Freshman and sophomore players developing faster is the second tier, while the third tier is gaining XP more quickly, and pipeline bonuses for the 4th tier. And going into the talent development, we're going to have 6 players at 90 plus, including Vegher. He's going to be a 94 overall or 93 overall, depending on what part of the screen you're looking at here. An incredible quarterback as a sophomore. We also have a right tackle, corner, a wide receiver, a second corner, and a left tackle that are all going to be 90 plus. And amazingly, only 2 of them are seniors. So running back, we're going to have 3 guys 80 plus. Fullback, definitely higher 70s, more useful for us. Wide receiver, very deep with 5 guys at 80 plus. Tight end, we'll have 2 guys at 80 plus. Left tackle have a 90 and an 82. Left guard's going to have an 87. Center, we're going to have an 82. That didn't develop very well, but the guy behind him is at least a 79 and has improved quite a bit. Right guard, we've got an 88. Right tackle, we've got a 93 and an 81. Left edge, a high 80s, low 80s. Right edge, a high 80s. Defensive tackle, 2 low to mid 80s, and a 79 and a 78, so plenty of depth at least. Strong side, 83, middle, all 3 guys in the 80s, including an 89. Weak has an 88 and an 80. Corner, 2 90s, wow, and 3 80s behind him. Free safety in 82 didn't develop very well, unfortunately, and depth behind him is a freshman. Breda is going to be a big one for us. Strong safety in 87 and a 79. Kicker, 2 low 80s, and punter, 2 low 80s. No change to the conference this season, so we move on. And we enter preseason ranked in the top 20, 18th overall, and we've pushed up just a little bit from last year. Up to a 90 with a 91 on offense, up from our 89 across the board. And we enter preseason with a few guys worried. We've got playing style, 2 guys very worried in the high 80s, and 2 guys not so worried. And then we have a halfback worried about playing time in 86. That's it. Ooh, and our schedule is a little different this year. One of our non-conference games has been pushed back to make room for an actual bye week here before we begin conference play in week 4, like we always do since we've moved over. It's Virginia Tech on the road. They were just 4-8 a year ago. That should be a win. FCS West obviously should be a win, and we will be at home against Texas A&M, who were just 5-7, 2-6 in conference last year. That's SEC, is it not? These days. So we're a little bit backloaded with our last non-conference game being against Cal at the very tail end of the season. We're at home, but they were 8-5, just 3-5 in conference though, so they were perfect 5-0 in non-conference games, but that's going to be a much more difficult ask for them this coming year. As for us, we got Tulsa late, USF late, Army, who were just 2-10. Texas San Antonio at home definitely gives us a chance there. Florida Atlantic, Memphis, there's a big one. We're at home, week 5, and we will not see Tulane in the regular season. We've got a chance to be 12-0. We have a chance. Definitely not saying it's going to happen. You figure there's going to be some sort of let up at some stage here, some mistake, but with Memphis, Texas, San Antonio as the only major games, and both are at home, and Tulsa at home, it feels like you could, like, all of our toughest games are at home. It's possible we could run the table. Something new that I'm trying this season is I'm ignoring 3-star players entirely at this phase of the year. I'm looking exclusively at maximizing our 4 and 5-star turnout. Historically, the 5 hours to get 3-star guys on the list is about all I do anyway, at least in recent seasons. But I'm really putting that effort forth into 4 and 5-star guys, and with an extra 50 hours we're able to make a little bit more progress with these guys. I'm targeting 2 5-stars. One of them I've just located, the other one I did from week 1, so I've got a little bit of hours here. For the moment, instead of 35 guys, we're targeting 25, but all of them are 4 stars or better and would make an excellent top of the class. Now there's competition for a handful of guys, and then there's a few that I'm probably going to miss out on if the other schools get active, especially if I can't spare the hours. I'm going to see what happens with this first couple of weeks with the first few guys, and if I need to eliminate 1 or 2 or 3, I can see what's left and, target others. But I'm really hoping to be a lot more aggressive than in years past on getting this first wave of elite recruits. Vegher against FCS West has set the single game school record and conference record for passing touchdowns in one game. He did that while we put up 76 points against FCS West, but we gave up 10, sadly. We beat Virginia Tech pretty comfortably at 51-20 as well to open the season. That was on the road. That was 8 touchdowns for Vicker. Texas A&M managed to give us a real headache, but we won 38-35. And then Navy, our first conference game, was a blowout 45-7. But we get into one of our toughest games of the entire season, to Memphis, who are just 2-1, haven't played a conference game yet. They are struggling a little bit here early on in the season. So is Texas San Antonio at just 2-2. Either one of them faring too well with their non-conference schedule. In fact, everybody on our calendar has taken losses already. Tigers, Memphis gives us a 77 overall, but they're on the road, so we should be quite comfortable in the victory. But again, one of our toughest games of the season. You never know. They could surprise us. Memphis ended up being a fairly comfortable win as the offense had a big day, putting up 56 points, though defensively we did have our struggles, giving up 31. And then we went on the road to Florida Atlantic, a really weak team, just 1-5, and the offense had a really bad day, but the defense did fine. 31-21 Victor's 6-0 so far on the season. For whatever wild reason, though, we are losing championship contender evaluation. And I think it's more to do with our combined opponent record so far in the season. It's just not a lot of quality opponents, but we're 12th. So we're still doing pretty well in those rankings and would be headed to the playoff if we win out and get that conference championship. First signature already, right edge Duval, 4 stars out of Ohio. And finally, with that win at 7-0, 4-0 in conference, we bump back up to an A- for championship contender. And suddenly there's only 2 players with any concern on transfer playing time, right edge, and a quarterback with no risk at all. But maybe worried. We're 12th in the nation right now on that rating. Texas San Antonio was supposed to be the other hardest game of the season. They're just a 74 overall. We're at home. Let's see if we can get to 8-0 and keep things trucking along. 4-star right tackle Burden signs. And 4-star middle linebacker Jadovsky signs. And 4-star right guard Olsen has committed as well. 3 guys. Here's a 4-star corner Joyner. I did have 4 visits. Those guys could have been those 4. There's another commit, Cage, 4-star right tackle. Now there's a single downside to the process that I've been going through recruitment-wise this year of only targeting 4 and 5-star guys, and that is our class is not balanced. We are doing really well at certain positions, and we're getting nobody at others. This is the last 4-star guy that there's any chance of me recruiting of the high schoolers. But there's no safeties. There's only 1 corner. There's no outside linebackers, no defensive tackles, no quarterbacks, only 3 linemen. There is holes in this strategy. But so far, we're on the verge of, we're not going to get all 17, but we're on verge of having about 15 4-star high school recruits. I do think that is going to give us the ability to kind of push in a very good direction. Now, if I get some more hours, obviously I've got to get the new guy, Whiteheart, up to 50. But once I get him to that stage, then I will start to look at 3 stars to fill out the other positions. And then, of course, and with only quality ones, and then we'll use the transfer market to fill out the rest. And it's going to allow us to, I'm not going to need hardly any hours with the high schoolers. They're going to be all recruited already, signed for the most part. So far, this strategy is paying off really well. It's just, it's leaning all in one direction. It's putting all your eggs in a handful of baskets and leaving a few baskets empty and relying on the transfer market for that. So we're going to have to be careful, but this could work incredibly well. This could be a top 5 class. South Florida has ended up having the best record of any of our opponents, and we're on the road. They're 6-3, 4-2 in conference. but they're only a 66 overall. So we should win quite comfortably. Should. And so I've added 2 3-star players. That's how far we've gotten now. The free safety, 554 in the nation. Good. The quarterback, 461. You know how many 4 stars or better there are? 460. He's the first 3-star on the list. Probably pretty good. And it's the first guy at either position that we are recruiting. Next, signature 4-star middle linebacker Silvestro. Going back a ways, North Texas, Texas San Antonio, Army, USF, Tulsa, all extremely comfortable. We only gave up 10 points maximum in the last 5 games. We are done with the conference slate, first in the conference, headed for the conference championship. Good chance we'll see Tulane there. Certainly not a guarantee. We're now 8th in the country, and we have a home game against 2-9 Cal to finish the regular season. Things are going really well on multiple fronts here. And at 8th place, we've got a very good chance of making the playoff. All it takes is winning the conference. Easier said than done in this conference compared to the old one. We couldn't do the job that consistently over there either. So it really could go either way. But we will host. That's the thing about this conference, is it's not neutral territory. The higher seed hosts. We're first. We've got that locked up. So we've put together our second perfect regular season. And Tulane is looking really good too. They're 11th in the country. Guaranteed whoever wins this is headed for the playoff. Guaranteed. Next commit, 4-star, Brisby, right edge. Oh, Tulane is good though. They are a 93 overall. They are very, very similar in terms of quality. Their strength is their defense. Our strength is our offense. But there's no weakness on the other side of the ball. This is going to be a really tough game. The best thing going for us is the fact that we are at home. But this one, honestly, probably a toss-up. It's coin flip. 2 very good programs. One headed for the playoff. One headed for a really nice bowl game, you would think. Maybe. There's a spot for both of us. Prestige is back up to an A after going undefeated this season. And I'm into a new 5-year contract. They want us to make at least 1 bowl game over that stretch. That's pretty easy. We've dropped it. But we're still 10th in the nation. We've still got a good chance to make the playoff, though we have not won the conference. Now here at this tail end of the season at 12-1 with seemingly 1 more game to play, unless it's a playoff and a victory, we're looking at a single player at risk of losing them, and it's 69 overall right edge who's worried about playing time. And even then, it looks like there might be a chance to convince him to stay. Clark, wide receiver out of Miami, is this year's Heisman. 1,500 yards, 29 touchdowns. And we're in the playoff. Whew. 7-10 matchup against Miami. We have qualified for the playoff. Could this be another half-star for us? Win or lose? Miami have also had a very prolific offense, not quite as good as ours, but they've obviously played a tougher calendar than we have. And they just won the Heisman. They've got a really good receiver, and they're a 97 overall. Definite favorites. They are also at home, so it's not going to be easy. Had we won this, we would have been playing at home for the playoff and had a chance. Had a chance to get out of the first round. I doubt we would have made the top 4, probably 5th or 6th, where we were. But that would have been a big opportunity for us that we don't get now. But at least we're in the playoff, despite losing to Tulane. Prestige has definitely fixed itself this season, though. I'm back up to an A, and our 2 coaches are out of that C range and into the Bs, and it looks like they're both staying, so I'm happy for that. Your report includes a single player, but it's an 87 overall halfback. It's definitely going to hurt having him not in the game. He's had 94 attempts this season for 644 yards. 6 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns. It's all good. 122 through the air on 15 catches. Good stats. Definitely not the only guy. So we've got depth behind him at halfback, which should be okay. But it hurts us a little anyway. Let's go! Veger's like crushing records, by the way, this season. I would be very happy if he comes back for another season. Yards, touchdowns, team, conference, all of it. And we are a playoff game winner for the second time in 3 trips to the playoff. We'll play against the 2 seed USC in the Rose Bowl, which of course is a home game for them. That conference championship was a close loss, by the way, 42-38. It was also a close win with Miami, 31-28. With the first round behind us, UCLA knocked off Notre Dame, 31-24. Tulane got the 8th seed, so they got a home game against Louisville, beat up 28-26. We lost to a big recruit to Louisville, by the way. Clemson with the upset over Pitt, and us with the upset over Miami. Both pushing on in this lower half of the bracket with Arizona State and USC. Arizona State undefeated at 13-0. The other pair is Georgia and Tennessee. USC, 94 overall. Not impossible. We have the talent. We have the capability of beating a team like this, but more often than not, we're going to lose. So getting one upset, we've now played 4 playoff games. We've won 2. We've lost 2. I would imagine that we're about to lose number 3. I think we're have enough quality to win a third to maybe 40%. And there's the loss. So we're out, but 13-2, won a game in the playoff. We're going to finish the season ranked seemingly in the top 10. I think we should be headed for another half star. USC beat us 31-20. Clemson with the upset over Arizona State, 37-36. Tulane losing to Georgia. UCLA losing a close one to Tennessee. Georgia beating Tennessee. Clemson with the upset over USC going to the national championship, but Georgia, the 1 seed, took care of business there to win the championship. The 2043 national champions are the Georgia Bulldogs. But that is our second progression out of the first round of the playoff. That's got to be good for us. Didn't we gain like a full star last time that happened? I don't know if we're in full star gain territory as high as we are now, but this has got to be pushing us a little bit further. At least a half star, you would think. Final top 25 has Tulane at 7 and us at 8, right behind them, both 13-2. Great job there, and again, they're a 4-star program. We're that star behind, so and we just pulled some really big wins. UCLA's up to 4.5, Arizona State's at 4, Tennessee's at 4.5, USC 5, Clemson 5, Georgia 5. Behind us, Pitt's 4.5 these days, Louisville's 4, Penn State's 4.5, Miami 4.5, Rice just 3, but they're down a ways. Oregon down to 4 stars. Starting to get back in contention these last couple of years after they were out of the top 25 entirely for a while. Notre Dame's down to 4.5. Michigan's at 5. BYU. What has Michigan done lately? Like, they've been in one deep playoff run this whole time. How are they still 5 stars? BYU is at 4. Appalachian State is now a 3-star, dominating the Sun Belt Conference. We'll have to move them with whatever future realignment we do, as they have earned the right to play in a larger conference. Alabama 4.5 only these days. Troy at 2.5, but only cracking the top 20. TCU 3.5. Texas down to 4.5. They have lost a half star. FIU at 3. Marshall at 2 has cracked the top 25 with a big season, second in the Sun Belt. And Wisconsin 4 stars. I definitely feel like at least a half star is imminent for us. The consistency to play at or near the top, to make the playoff, to make a couple wins within the playoff should be bringing us along. Maybe not to that 4-star mark yet. I don't know if we're catching Tulane. They could be gaining another half-star themselves. They could be a 4.5 for all I know. I would take a full star if they get a half-star and call that pretty good, but it's very much a long-term thing to make those moves. We've played a lot of seasons. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm the Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.